Many musicians regard classical guitar as one of the easiest instruments to pick up, but one of the hardest ones to master. And as someone who's been playing for nearly 20 years, I'm confident in saying that I agree. There's a vast difference between how beginners approach this instrument and how seasoned, skilled, professional classical guitarist does, but fortunately getting from one skill level to the other doesn't have to be a long, repetitive and painful process. So in today's video I want to unlock some secrets to getting really good at classical guitar, including many you probably didn't even think of. But first of all, there's nothing wrong with being and staying a beginner. And if your sole aspiration for classical guitar is just to be able to play Pachelbel's Canon in D at your sister's wedding, that's perfectly fine. In fact, some of this information will still be helpful for you. However, if you feel driven to really understand this instrument and to improve your skills, your technique, and to really push the boundaries of what you can do, either you are a self-taught guitarist or you take lessons from a teacher, I'm certain you'll get a lot out of what I'm about to say. Now, if you've ever learned an instrument before, be it guitar, piano, triangle, doesn't matter, you probably know that the most common teaching methods focus on the importance of repetition. And it makes a lot of sense at first because it helps with dexterity, muscle memory, basic skills, and all the other things you need in your back pocket as you go further with this instrument. But here's the thing. Playing the same thing over and over again can actually make it harder for you to get good. Guitar is a beautiful instrument, but more than that, it's extremely versatile. So if you were to ask 10 people why they like classical guitar, they're going to come up with 10 completely different answers. I'm almost sure about it. But also, if you watch contemporary classical guitarists, there's no doubt you've noticed that there's a huge difference between how someone like Anna Vidovic plays versus Pepe Romero or David Russell, but I could name any living guitarist, really. So here's my point. Repetition is super important, but being a great guitarist is more about branching out and trying new things. So if you see a technique or a musical solution that seems interesting for you, try to understand it and then try to imitate it, learn it. And once you see how it works, once you try it, you don't have to stick with it, till the rest of your life. You don't have to make a lifelong commitment, but at least you will have an understanding, a better understanding about your own preferences, your own style, and it will help you to have a lifelong enjoyment in making music, because no one likes to repeat the same thing over and over again forever. And by switching up things, sometimes you also learn to think a little bit outside of the box, to use your creative juices and to stick with this instrument for many, many years. And I know a lot of people will think, well, copying others is not a good thing, I should come up with my own ideas. But hear me out. I believe that the best living musicians have also copied great masters at first, and then they added their own spins, and they used that as a platform to develop their own style. In fact, as a hobby painter, I've learned how to incorporate aspects of my art into my music, and these two mediums have seemingly nothing in common. But the thing is, the more things I learn, the more experience I gain during my life, the more I can use this stuff in other fields. So I can improve in new fields more quickly. So the stuff that I learned about composition and structure in painting and drawing, I can use that information to improve my music and my storytelling skills and even my YouTube videos. And this is going to bring us to my next point. We'll be back to the video in just a second. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, you guys, or more specifically to my patrons. Now, Patreon allows me to work on my music and on my educational videos in my own pace without any pressure. So if you think my videos or my work is valuable, if you like what I'm doing here, please consider to become a patron and support my art and work on a regular basis. Now, back to the video, which is, if you want to become the best X, Y, or Z in the world, I'm sorry for the low budget examples. If you want to become the best something in the world, that will really limit your creative world, right? Now, think about someone like Leonardo da Vinci, for example. As a painter, inventor, engineer, architect, and yes, musician, Da Vinci was able to approach problems from unique, innovative angles by incorporating things learned in one discipline into others. So a good example of this is how his study of the human body significantly improved the accuracy of his anatomical drawings and indirectly his artwork. Then Beethoven, while undoubtedly known as a composer first and foremost, was also a pianist, conductor, teacher, writer, and politician. So these multifaceted talents and interests not only enriched his compositions, but also contributed to his legacy. So his ability to excel in various aspects of music and life is a great example that being a generalist can lead to a more well-rounded and impactful life, even in a specialized field like classical music. So while you might get quite a lot of views for playing Asturias in double speed on YouTube, that isn't going to expand your skills as a musician much. And I do my best to keep reminding my students that great art isn't measured by pure skills. And even if you do rack up 1 million views for that, Asturias video we just mentioned, maybe the next week someone will come and will play it just 10 BPM faster, and then where's your value? So my point is, technique isn't equal to music. Technique is your toolbox that you use to make music. And if someone buys a ticket for your concert, they won't go there to hear a cool arpeggio or a cool scale. They want to hear a nice song. This brings me to another point, and do you remember how I said earlier that there's very little value in repeating the same thing over and over again from the perspective of self-improvement, right? That's very true. However, this doesn't mean that you can completely ignore working on your fundamentals, or that you can skip practice sessions if they don't have something new and fun and exciting every single day. So you have to learn to enjoy practice, but maybe more importantly, you have to learn to see value in struggling with the details. Now, this doesn't sound too much fun, but let me explain it a little bit better. So, arpeggios are difficult. We know that. They are not easy to learn, but they are so inevitable in classical guitar repertoire. They are everywhere. You have to learn it. And it means that you are going to struggle with it for quite a long time. So if your goal is to learn Etude number 1 by Villa-Lobos, and you're focusing on the entire piece and you can't appreciate the small wins, you're going to feel miserable for a very long time. And in order to create a more sustainable relationship to this instrument, you need to learn to appreciate the small wins, and you need to see value in struggling. I know that we are focusing so hard on the piece we want to learn, but if you can't learn to enjoy the time, the practice time, and the time you spend with the instrument, you won't pass the beginner level. So you have to learn to love the process, and you have to let go of being obsessed with an end goal. And my final secret to getting really good at classical guitar. Well, we are often so busy with technique And with what we are doing on this instrument, we tend to forget to listen to how it actually sounds. And fun thing, most of my students can easily fix their mistakes within just seconds when I ask them to listen to how it sounds. So playing the classical guitar really well is just as much about listening as much it is about playing. It has to be in balance. So the next time when you practice, try to record yourself and listen it back and think and ask yourself if it sounds the same as you think it sounds from the inside. You have to improve this skill. You have to learn to be able to listen to yourself. So when we learn an instrument, we also have to watch people who are better than us. We have to try to understand what they are doing and why they are doing it, and do our best to imitate it. And over time, this will help to develop a sense of structure and our own style and preferences. Because in the end, I want you to be you as a guitarist. However, you can't force yourself to become unique. You need to teach yourself to do so by observing, imitating, repeating, trying new things, and by listening. In the end, I think that's the real key to becoming a great classical guitarist. So if you're ready to improve your skills, here's a collection of my favorite 11 exercises, and they are mostly beginner friendly, and they already helped thousands of people to improve their classical guitar skills or guitar skills in general. Check it out. And on your way out, make sure to boop the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it so far. And thank you so much for watching. I really do hope to see you in the next video. Bye.